2025.
Wow. You probably don't get inundated with math-related memes
It's
and
not
reels.
The algorithm does not hit me for math. It's probably as much as that's for you.
But 2025 is a very interesting number. There's a lot of relationships mathematically with it. It's like the sum of 3 different squares. And I'd have to look at it's like, and it's a number that's exponential. It's a I'll think of it when you put the explanation point at the end of it.
Nice, yeah.
Like
and you go
1
like
times
5,
2 times
4,
3
3,
times 4
2,
times
1.
5. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. What do you call that?
Is that factorial?
It might be
5 factorial. Yeah,
yeah.
I think that is.
There you go. Wow.
I don't know why I'm blanking. I mean,
it's been a crazy new year. I think. Have you listened? I know you were out of time. Have you listened to Pastor Joel's sermon from Romans 12 yet?
I have not yet, which is one of the reasons we switched it in the order. But because really, Joel preached and then Danny. But we're gonna do you've already listened to Danny by the time you're hearing this episode, and we're putting Joel's Roman.
I was just saying this. We can gloss over this in his sermon too. But he gave like the top 4 or 5 categories or top 4 or 5 New Year's resolutions. Can you guess what the top 4 or 5? You probably can. I think they all are pretty what you would think.
Fitness
is up there. Yeah.
Number 1. Probably relationships, like dating or marrying, or finding a.
That's a good question. Definitely fitness. It was like a weight loss one and hitting the gym. Financial was on there. Yeah. What was the other one? Maybe it was a relationship. I don't think it was a relationship, but it was something like if we said it, it would be like,
read more books or something like that.
Read, man. That's good.
I need to read more. Get off social media.
Get off social media. That should be a goal of mine. I don't think I spend that much time, but I spend more time than I should.
Yeah. I got an app that doesn't allow me to go more than 15 minutes.
Oh, nice.
So it kind of breaks up scrolling, so you're not doom scrolling. So that gives me enough time to kind of see people's updates.
Yep.
Maybe type an update, and then. I mean, I can always get another 15 minutes, but it makes it just at least be a conscious choice that do you want to spend another 15 minutes on Facebook or not?
Wow. No, that is good. And we're talking a lot about New Year's resolutions kicking off the podcast because it is the new year, and this podcast is going to be filled with Michael's New Year's resolutions, my New Year's resolutions, if we have any. I haven't talked to Michael about what they were, so we'll kind of see where this goes. But hopefully you have made some, and if not, maybe you can use it. Not that New Year's resolutions are the end all be all, but
we think they're good. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and we will take it to the next level. From the heart of the Low Country in South Carolina,
it's the Take 2 podcast, where we take theology to the next level.
New Year's resolutions. I talk to people, Michael, and I feel like you get 2 sets of people. People that, we'll say 3 sets of people. One category with 2 subsets might be people that just love to make them. Most people probably just love to make them and don't really see them through. That's probably a lot of people. A lot of people, make them, keep them. And some people are like, what's the point of New Year's? Or it's like anti-New Year's resolutions.
Yeah. I would say that I've switched categories since going through adulthood. Because I used to think, there's nothing special about this time. You should always kind of be about New Year's resolutions. We shouldn't be, spending. But I've come more towards, wanting to make them. And at least, like I said today, you may not meet it 100%, but I think it gives you a goal and you meet more than what you would have otherwise.
That's true. If you don't set a goal, you can't even, get halfway or a quarter of the way. And so that's why I set my goals really, really high. I'm going to read the Bible through 12 times this year. 12 times. So if I get there one time, maybe I'll get there one time.
Yeah.
But that's probably in the evangelical world. That's I feel like that's a top of the list. I'm going to read the Bible through or listen to the Bible through. That's like a big one you hear a lot.
Yeah, one of my sisters read through the Bible for the first time
really
last year.
Yeah.
And so this year she's doing it with a study guide that's like asking her questions and stuff, making it be a little more intentional. So it's good. Yeah,
that's really good one to do. But yeah, I think the crowds on other sides, like you're saying, like they're like, what's the point? And I would say I probably used to be that way too, because like you're right. What's so special about January 1? I could do January 3.
Right.
And I think that would be an encouragement. Like if you haven't done them, like just don't even do New Year's resolution. Do January 10th resolutions or whatever you want to.
Yeah, that's good.
You can always set some goals, and by the same measure, you don't have to be legalistic to these goals. It's not like, everything. So, but what I love is that the Bible directly talks about New Year's resolutions.
Yeah. And it was at the first book of opinions that's in.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll tell you a passage that I draw on. It's not a New Year's resolutions passage, but it's something I tie into goal setting and thinking about these kind of things. I think of 1 Timothy 4. Paul is writing to Timothy, and I'm reading from the ESV, the pericope. Yeah, get the good old NASB up there. The pericope heading in the ESV, starting at verse 6, is a good servant of Jesus Christ. And Paul's really talking to Timothy. Hey, these are some steps you can follow, and you will serve God well. You will serve Christ well. And I'm going to pick up maybe in verse 7, he writes, have nothing to do with irrelevant, silly myths. Rather, train yourself for godliness. For while bodily training is of some value, I like that part as a physical therapist. Bodily training is good, and it is valuable. It's a good thing, but
and some translations will say it's little value,
still value,
but it's still value.
I
don't think Paul is trying to say it's tiny. He's saying it is of some value.
A comparison. It's not. That's a good point, because I think you can read it and be like, why should I exercise? For while bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. The saying is trustworthy and deserving of full acceptance. For to this end and I like these words, we toil, we strive, because we have our hope set on the living God, who is the Savior of all people, especially those who believe. And if we were just to scroll down, I won't keep reading. Paul's writing, command and teach these things. He's going to say, don't neglect the gifts you have. Practice these things. Immerse yourself in them. Keep a close watch on yourself. Persist in this. And it's like you've got all these action verbs: toil, strive, persist, immerse. Train yourself for godliness, because it's really, really important. And so I kind of use that as my New Year's passage, a good, way to put that into practice intentionally.
Now, here's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Because we picked a verse for this year.
Oh, yeah.
And that was initially our verse.
Wow, it got changed.
But then we changed it. We changed it. But that's a good verse.
Made the top.
It's a good verse.
I like that passage a lot. So I am just what's the Mott's verse?
Yeah. So I think this is our third year in a row where we have specifically picked out a theme. We've talked about. I think the year before that we kind of talked about. Here's some places that we think we want to improve. And then the year after that, we're like, okay, let's have like a theme. So it was serve 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, and then it was strengthen. And we really wanted to strengthen. We said let's do focus on three categories: faith. So our faith with God, like our walk with God, our family ties, relationships, and our fitness levels.
Nice,
and
that's
so,
good.
Those three F's. And so we spent some time. We also have a blessing jar. We got this idea from the Hawks. And so throughout the year, we'll like put in any time there's like a blessing. And so we read through those, and then we Jill and I talk about, we kind of just like review, like how do we feel like we did? Where are some places we did good? Where are some places we didn't do so good? And we thought, like, especially in faith and family, I think we did really good. Like Chloe read through the Bible this year. I feel like, as kids move through different stages, you have different, and I feel like that's improved. But we all kind of said we did these things in fitness, but we could have done more.
Yeah.
And so Jill and I were like, yeah, we agree. And so we were going to be like re-strengthen, but we didn't really like that. And Chloe was like, what about, because we started something like, we probably should do like some daily habits. So then
that's good.
We're like, okay, let's have the word be discipline.
Discipline. That's a good word.
Yeah, discipline.
Yeah, I like that.
So then, this, is of little profit, but, godliness. So, but we were like, well, maybe this one would be better. So this was
let's hear it.
Our verse. It's Hebrews 12:11. It says, all discipline for the moment seems not to be joyful, but sorrowful. Yet to those who are trained by it, afterwards it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness. So,
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, hey, we're going to try to put in some daily habits of, exercise and, looking at, our food, eating healthier and that kind of stuff. And then, and just try to discipline and know that in the midst of it, it may not be, the best, but
right.
Being trained by it yields.
Well, I like that verse.
Fruit,
that is good. I think that's a good focus. And a little side about the blessing jar. I was over at the Hawks for this like dessert cook-off. I don't think we ever talked about this on the pod, that Clayton and I were tag teaming.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and I snuck in a blessing in there that was a compliment to the Hawks, but also a backhanded compliment towards one of the kids as a joke. And they read it. They were like, "Who wrote this?" And they knew it was my family.
Yeah. Well, we strangely enough, we had one from Anna in ours. So so it's good.
That's good. Great. I'll pull up some, and I'm behind the times. Me and my family, we're still like putting some of this together. Like I said on the boys, I was like, you need to think about these things. I don't know how much I thought about it. We did like we did talk about last year. What are some great things as a family? So we've got to kind of come back and refine some of these things. I'll pull up what I'm trying to. It's just some simple ones. I don't know if I've like made them totally measurable. But some of my goals.
Ours are not SMART. You know what SMART is like?
Oh, it
specific, measurable,
those,
achievable, reasonable.
All of that, yeah. So one of my big ones, she spoke about eating healthier. I'm on the road a lot, like in between different places throughout the day. I'm trying to eat a little bit healthier as well. It's not uncommon for me to like during a work week, like eat out like 5 times a week.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm down to, if I can do it 1 time a week on average, or 52 times a year. Maybe there's a couple weeks I'll do 2, but then I won't. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I haven't done it yet.
Maybe some give and take.
There might be some give and take, and I was like, this first week didn't do it at all. So I got a 2 for in there somewhere. Nice. So that's one of mine on the health because like we'll save some money and
let me because Jill and I were saying the same thing. She's like, I just need you to like cook some proteins and like have them available.
Plan it. That's so
that it
smart.
can be easy. And I was like, well, I've got a whole lot of venison. She's like, but not venison. So I think I'm gonna like pre-cook some venison for myself and then some.
That's the way to do
non-venison
Prepare
for her.
Prepare ahead. Make it easy.
Yeah.
Way to live life. As a family, trying to think. I'm trying to think of typically at dinner I will read scripture. Not every night with my boys. And it's impossible, probably not impossible, but we're not going to be able to read through the whole Bible in a year in that way because I read slow and we like have questions. I could either like motor through it, we don't know. So I've kind of got to pick and choose like where do we want to focus?
Right.
So we're still working through that on where we want to do. Right now we're just doing some like Proverbs stuff because that's on my mind with like Sunday school. But after that, I'm trying to think about what we want to do as a family with Bible reading. This is, I don't know if I'll be able to do this. I'm in the middle of working my master's. I would love to get that done this year. That might be aggressive. It's definitely doable. I just need to like buckle down and do it. And then on the fitness side of things, I count everything as working out. I'm pretty liberal with it, but I'm trying to work out 100 times this year. But I play like Frisbee once a week typically. And then when I work out, I work from home like half of my day. I'll go and like go in my garage, exercise for like 25 minutes. I'm not doing like these 3-hour grueling workouts, but I'm like, if I can do 100 of those, I feel like, that's sustainable. It can be consistent. I don't burn myself out. I used to like go hard and then I was like, I just can't keep this up.
Yeah. I think that's smart. And cause like, well, I think kind of going back to a point that you're a little bit behind the times. I think the, calendar fell a little bit weird, at least for us.
It did. It was a weird. Yeah.
So we are normally here in Charleston on the New Year's, but we weren't. We were a couple days behind. So we kind of did our family thing, a couple days after New Year's, which was fine,
Yeah.
But then we were talking through some of the specifics, like you said. And one of the things we were talking about was Jill's like, well, I want to exercise. And she used to do these like in the 2016, 2017, like she was like hardcore doing these very heavy workouts. And like, she always has that standard of perfection. I'm like, well, you've had another kid since then. Like you gotta, make it achievable.
That's right.
And it doesn't have to be, at work, sometimes we'll say this phrase, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. So that you're shooting for perfect so much that when you can't get perfect, you said, I'm not going to do anything.
That's really good.
Yeah. So we talked about, what does that make, what are some reasonable steps that, we can take to, and I think 100, that's a good goal.
That's 100. I mean, that's pretty frequently, but I'm like, I can usually do it during
once
the
every
workday.
3 to 4 days.
Yeah. being in there consistently, and usually I can do that because I'm just not going super hard. And then what I task my boys with, I need to follow up with them, are think of one physical goal, like I don't know, like last year. Jackson's goal, he was 5. He wanted to like make a basketball shot on a 10-foot goal. He's gonna and he could do it. It was great. It was like one of the boys was like, run 5K with me. We use that term running loosely. We're not like running the whole time, but we're gonna complete it. Something like that. When think about something physical, think about something intellectual or mental. Jaden's at this age where he can like start to read like little chapter books and stuff. That's so good. We're like picking, and we want to read like these 10 books, like or whatever.
Lord of the Rings for first graders. I'll write something for him.
And then one spiritual goal, how are we, both Jaden and Jackson can read, what are we going to read? How do we want to, kind of pursue that side of things? I'm like, if you can pick one goal, each of those areas, be thinking about it, let's help you reach those goals. So I don't know what those are going to look like, but supposedly they've been thinking about it, which, I need to revisit and help them think through that.
That's good. And like, I think it's so good that I think some people can be like, if I don't have it by January 1st, then it's no good. Or if by January 15th, I messed up, I'm just going to be done for the rest of the year. It's like, no, that's like, you got to pick yourself up and keep it up.
Yeah, great example. This was like 2 years ago. One of my like more health related ones was going to be, I'm going to drink one soft drink a week or less on average. So 52 soft drinks a year. And I was like, okay, into January, it's like I've had like 15. So I'm like, I was like, I'm not on a good pace. It was didn't, I stopped tracking that one. In the past, what I have done, would
you count, like if you're at a restaurant and getting refills, does that count?
That's one.
That's one.
That's one. Yeah. And I still was not doing great, even if that was one. Yeah. I was like, I used to back in the day, even not that long ago, 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, I would make like too many goals, like 12 goals or 15. It was hard to keep up with all of them. They're all good. It's like, I didn't. So now if I try to squish to like, if I can make like 3 to 5, and even then I'll like run with maybe 3, once I get into, something I can focus on. I was kind of shooting too much. And I used to do the thing we talked about where it was like, too much. It's just unrealistic. I can do it for 3 weeks, but I can't do it for 52 weeks.
Right. Yeah. That's good.
Man.
All right. Well, anything else to say about New Year's resolutions?
Send in your New Year's resolution. I would love to get some ideas, because I think sometimes you can like fall into ruts. You hit the same. I know for me, I kind of hit some of the same beats, try to tweak them a little bit. Yeah. But I'm curious what others have done. I think I'll have to ask Stephen Brinson. I think I saw him on social media where he's like reading through scripture like a lot, like his like daily readings, like
he was going to read
chapters.
through the Bible in 120
Maybe
days.
That's what, something like that.
So I think he's going to try to read through it in 3 times a year.
That makes sense. Yeah. And you got a couple. Yeah. So I was going to ask him about that, because that's great for me to do that. I probably would have to like listen to it, but I could do. It'd be hard to listening.
Jill
changes the game.
Flipping the script. Is that
okay? Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Where she has gone through the Bible 3 or 4 times, and she's like a little bit like, it's not like exactly lined up to the year, but so I think she's in John, so she'll probably by February and March she'll be done. But then instead of reading through it again, she's like, I think I'm just going to camp out in a book for a while and just like read it over and over again and try to immerse myself in it. So I think both of those are good approaches. Yeah,
that different ways to do things, I think is great. So share with us your New Year's goals, or just goals that you do in general. Love to hear it. Anything else you got as we close out this podcast?
No, I think that's good. I think I'll, because we haven't got some of the specific things. So I think that 100 workouts a year, I think that's good. And I think I might take that on. So,
because really it's like 2 a week and you're already over. If you shoot out to do like 3 or 4 a week, then you have a couple weeks off. Yeah. It's like, it's kind of,
Yeah. I probably need to do a sleep related one too.
Ooh, that's like a good goal.
Getting in bed by a certain time. Yeah.
Yeah. Michael, I haven't seen one recently, but there was a time we were doing the podcast. He would like send me an email like 2 a.m. I'm like, what is this guy doing? But some people, do you not require a lot of sleep generally?
Well, I think my body would be great on a 25-hour clock. Because
interesting, yeah.
Right, because when let's say I go to bed at a normal time, and then I wake up at a normal time, I never feel like I'm ready to go to sleep again at a normal time. Like my body's like,
I see.
So like,
it just needs that extra.
If there was like an extra hour or so in the day, then I could go, and then sleep for 6.5, 7.5 hours, and then get up and power through again. It happens over and over again. I'll be like, I'll get to bed like at a good time, feel great. Like, I'm never going to bed later than 11:30 again, and then it's without fail that night. It's like 12:30 or 1. I'm like trying to go to sleep. So
yeah, that sleep goals are good. Well, I have nothing else either. So do some of these goals, and we will be back with you next week.
Yep, that's our take.
Thanks for listening to Take Two. Find us wherever you find podcasts and on YouTube for those who want to watch our video cast.